you don't compare your success with others, and you kind of just work on your own craft and work on perfecting that to the best of your ability and kind of be content with that or happy with that, which is something I struggle with to this day. Because I mean, as a footballer, you want to reach the peak. You want to, set your goals to the moon, World Cup, international duty, stuff like that. So I have a problem of kind of never being satisfied or never really appreciating what I have done in my career because, I mean, to me, it's all behind me, and I'm kind of like, yo, I need to reach the peak, like league that I know I can play in type energy. But yeah, man, making your own path, just doing your thing, and not kind of worrying about everyone else, you know.
It's a difficult thing though. I get it though. It's because it's as athletes too, and as people who are confident in our abilities, we're always searching for more. And that's kind of the balance that's difficult is you have this competitive nature, you have this fire, but you also have to be like, I'm living my dream. It's tough
Yeah,
too in the moment though.
very tough, very tough, especially when you feel like you quote unquote deserve more, which is one of those habits that I actively try to cut out from like my life, just thinking I deserve to be here or deserve to be here. Cause it's like, I mean, you really have to put it into perspective. Like there's so many players that were better than me that didn't make it to where I did. So it's kind of like my mentality is kind of like you don't deserve to be anywhere. You have to prove, you know, that you should be there. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of been my mottos for probably 4 years now. Sometimes I forget it, but sometimes I just go right back into it. Kind of that moment, that 2 weeks where you're just in the gym, killing it, you grinding, doing individual stuff here and there. And I mean, sometimes it's longer than 2 weeks, but other times it's just like, damn, I kind of want to take a day and just be like, fuck.
Yeah, it comes in waves for sure. I think this whole
Yeah.
footy life is like is just waves.
Yes, exactly, man.
I mean, you spoke just a little bit about it there, where you think you could kind of compare the USL and Regionalliga. So, what kind of things do you see that are similar on the field? But then also, what are some of the major differences that kind of stood out to you?
I would say the level of play is very similar. Um, in regards to individual talent that I've actually seen more in the USL. In the USL, you have more athletic weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you don't really see that I mean, at least in the Southwest over here. Um, Hair is more, I guess, team oriented, in terms of shape, positioning, and all that fun stuff. But in regards to individual talent on the field, I mean, from what I've seen in the USL, and I think it's only getting better. I think the USL kind of has that,
Mm-hmm.
but level wise, it's quite similar.
Would you say when you were bouncing around those few teams, especially in the Corona period, would you say that was your most difficult like moments in football? Like that was the most difficult period?
So it was difficult because you obviously individually you want kind of a place to call home. You kind of want you want a stable kind of foundation to kind of train. You have a place, you're not just bouncing around from state to state, country to country, stuff like that. So it's like the stability was something that I felt like the lack thereof. And it's just like, okay, I'll go to this team, but in my mind, I'm like, I got it to Europe. I gotta stay fit. Like even when I signed with the Switchbacks, like I mean, it was a great experience, and I was only there for like 3 months. But I got that extra fitness because Colorado Springs, man, the altitude can kill you. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy. So even there, you look at the positives, like, yo, I'm getting fit, preparing for Europe. But I I mean, it was difficult. Even St. Louis, like when you have a season and then it just stops, and then the season you're coming into is just completely different. And it's just like, yeah, man. I had a sports psychologist I actually talked to for the first time in my career, just about like handling different situations and kind of coping with different situations. And like, I
Mm.
mean, that was the first time I would journal every day, kind of about practice, the games, my diet and stuff like that. And, it was dope, So, I mean, I try and pick up positives from every team and kind of every journey I've been on. Um, and so far, you can find at least two things. One, maybe, but two, at least good things that you can take from every experience, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of adds on to those aspects that you were talking about earlier. Is like obviously it's a dream to be a professional footballer, but there's a lot of things that especially people not within the game don't see.
Mm.
They see what's on social media, of course.
Yeah.
So for you, what are some of those other aspects, and not even necessarily being abroad, but even domestically, those difficult aspects that people around the game don't usually see or
Mm.
hear about?
So people don't really see kind of the mental aspect the game has on, you know, a player, because at the end of the day, we're playing at, respectively the highest levels in our field. Obviously you have amateur, beginner, and we're at the professional level. Where you can go on the professional level is a whole different chart, but we're at the professional level. And this, we're here because we're all competitive in some way. So when you're not kind of when you're not playing, um, or you don't see that even in front of you, like you can't even imagine playing under this coach or on this team or whatever, that takes a big toll, because I mean, you want to play. No one likes to be on the bench, and it's even worse when you think that you're better than the guy who's playing ahead of you. So that mental aspect and trying to balance that and showing up for other people in your life in different ways. Because it's hard to separate church and state, in the sense that
Yeah,
it's hard to not bring my work home. You know what I
so
mean?
hard. Yeah,
Because it's you're an athlete 24/7. It's not just when you go to practice, or when you play in a game. Like, everything affects how you play on the field at the end of the day. So I mean, it's the mental aspect, and just like, even one thing that I know, like, I don't struggle with it now, because I feel like I'm quite seasoned as a professional. But I know a lot of younger guys, they struggle with kind of accepting that the coach is the only one that matters, when it comes to playing and not playing. And it's like, you can expect to play, you can think you deserve to play, but at the end of the day, his decision is the only thing that matters. And sometimes it's not the best player that plays. Sometimes you may have a connection with the coach that's deeper. Sometimes it's the guy that's on the most money that's playing, just because, I mean, you're not going to spend money for a guy for him to ride the bench, So there's so many aspects to the game. And like, yo, the game is only getting better. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, the kids are getting younger when they're coming to play pro. So it's like different aspects that you have to deal with every day. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm 27, and I'm one of the older guys on the team. And to me, 27, I still got years left.
yeah,
But you got guys you're playing with that are like having their 20th birthday this year, and like, you've lived completely different lives, but
yeah.
that's just how it is. And then you're like, damn, what was I doing when I was 19? Like, I wish I was playing pro, and wish I was doing this and that. So that just affects the mental aspect on a whole different level. You know what I mean?
You felt like that just helped you kind of like internalize it and just make, I guess, the difficult things like just kind of disappear. Like as you wrote them,
So,
they were there, and they didn't have as much power anymore.
so when I didn't write, a lot of the times I would internalize. Like I wouldn't talk to anyone. I would kind of just keep that on my heart and in my mind. And, you know, subconsciously, it could have affected me, you know, in how I showed up in aspects outside of ball, how I showed up at practice and stuff like that. So the whole point of my journaling was kind of like all the feelings I'm feeling in my head, just put them on paper. And after that, let it go. You make one mistake that leads to a goal, you're just killing yourself about it. Write it down in a journal and then never think about it again and move on. You know, I remember one coach I had, funny enough, in the switchback, so fairly recent, they said that the best skill to have as a center back is short-term memory. And bro, when he said that, I was like, damn, I think I've heard that before, but it makes sense, you know, because the first thing you do is beat yourself up if you make a mistake, anyone. But to have short-term memory is like, it stops you from making, you know, mistakes continuously, kind of getting in a funk and just not playing well for the remainder of the game versus, okay, I made a mistake. I still got 80 minutes. I still got 50 minutes to turn it around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, just different.
You don't want to be lost in that negative energy too. So kind of
dwelling
forgetting
on it.
helps you reset.
Precisely. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, every footballer hopes that they're never playing their last game. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if all things go well, you have another chance. You know what I mean? And how do you let this one occurrence affect your practice, your game? You know what I mean? And some coaches will allow you to make that mistake, put you in the same situation the next game, and see how you kind of maneuver through that. You know, and usually the ones that do it successfully end up better, end up stronger. You know what I mean? They learn from that mistake and stuff like that.
Why are you still going?
Why am I still going? Because I, one, love the game, and mostly I want to see how good I am. You know, I want to feel like I'm challenging myself. I want to feel like I'm worse than the guy that's starting over me. You know, I just want the competition. I want to be the best professional I can be. And ultimately, I want to make the most out of my career because, you know, unlike a lot of jobs out there, an athlete only has one career on the field, the court.
Shelf life, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So making the most of my career and kind of living this life to the fullest, you know, and that is what has kept me going. That's what's keeping me going. And yeah, man, that's the motto forever, bro.